Hello, I'm Carly Krouse of the Indiana Gazette, and this is a special playoff edition of our weekly high school football preview show. We're reporting this week from Weller Field, where the Ligonier Valley Rams are getting ready for Friday night's District 6 Class 2A championship game. 3 area teams are still alive and will be in action this week in the District 6 playoffs. Northern Cambria, the number 4 seed, will play against top-seeded Bishop Guilfoyle at Hollidaysburg on Friday night in the Class 1A semifinals. The 8-3 Colts had a bye in the first round and put a 47-14 beating on Ferndale in the second round. Northern Cambria will take on a Bishop Guilfoyle team that is the 2-time defending state champion and is working toward its 3rd straight undefeated season. On Saturday night, 2nd-seeded Homer Center plays host to number 3 Portage in the other Class 1A semifinal game. The Wildcats have just 1 loss this season, and they shut out rival Blairsville last week after receiving a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Portage is coming off a 38-20 victory over Penns Manor. With a win, Homer Center could advance to its 2nd district championship game in 4 years. Ligonier Valley will take the field at Mansion Park in Altoona on Friday night, looking for its first district championship. The undefeated and top-seeded Rams will take on Bishop McCourt, the number 3 seed, with a Class 2A title on the line. The Rams have cruised through their season and recorded 7 shutouts this year. 2 of those shutouts were in the playoffs, where Ligonier Valley beat Cambria Heights 37-0 in the quarterfinals and bested Westmont Hilltop 35-0 in the semifinals. The Rams could finally face a challenge this week against the 10-2 Crushers. Bishop McCourt's only 2 losses this season came from Bishop Guilfoyle and 4A opponent Johnstown. Ligonier Valley is the Heritage Conference champion and the Appalachian Bowl champion. This year's team also set a school record with 12 wins in a season. Now the Rams are hoping to check another goal off their list. Now, here's Ligonier Valley coach Roger Beidel to talk about his team's preparation for the upcoming big game. You guys have been really working for this pretty much since the end of last year, so how's it going to feel for you as the coach to see them take the field on Friday night at Mansion Park?
Well, not only me as the coach, but I think also for our entire community, it's outstanding. The amount of support that we've gotten from within the school and basically the entire valley. We couldn't be prouder of the kids, and that's been something that, as you see the community outpour of support, it's been the same way for them as well.
Mm-hmm. You guys have faced a lot of run-heavy teams this year. You're about to face another one, so how do you think that's going to help you going into this game?
Well, they're different. As I was telling Jim off camera, we had to lug our way through the forest the last 2 weeks with those 2 massive teams that were very run-heavy and extremely big. And this team's going to be physical, much more athletic. They run the veer inside, so that requires a little bit more discipline. And they're just an outstanding football team. They're very tough. They're similar to us in size, and they're aggressive, and they run very well. So it's a much more athletic football team. So for us, this is very different than what we faced in the first 2 weeks.
Have you guys been doing anything different in practice from last week until now, or you just kind of been sticking to what's been working for you?
Well, it's kind of funny because we've actually been able to practice against the pass this week. The last 2 weeks we didn't even practice against the pass. It was just something that we'd throw in here and there. So it's more of a balanced defensive game plan going in. But again, you're playing an option team, and that's something that is very difficult. It requires great discipline by your defense. So we've broken those elements down, and we're going after that, and some new wrinkles offensively that we're looking at. But it's kind of the same type of thing. We get to go on the game field, so that's a little bit different. Try to contend with the darkness and the cold. But kids are still working the way that they always do. We're preparing and excited for what we have on Friday.
Right. How did they respond after coming off that big win on Friday night and trying to turn it around and get back to work for you?
Give them some time off and get a chance for them to enjoy, all the posts by their parents on the Facebook and all that other good stuff, and just take it all in and enjoy those things and enjoy the support that the community has gotten and those types of things. And then they knew coming in Monday that it was going to be back to business. We lifted hard and we got the game plan in. We got on the field, got back to work, and at this point just kind of get focused on the prize that we have in front of us.
Mm-hmm. And how much do you know about McCourt going in? I'm sure you guys scouted them. I'm sure you've seen them on film. I would like to think probably you've been following them for a good bit of the year, knowing that they were a pretty good team and had a chance to maybe face you guys. So how much do you know about them going in?
Well, I mean, in terms of knowing them, it's different because they're not in our conference, but we did get a chance to see them earlier in the season live in person. And then we saw them last week against Bellwood, and we've gotten a couple films on them. So, we know pretty much the same things you guys do in terms of the reading. We have a little bit more access to film. But the big thing for us is they've had some guys that have had some injuries in the skill positions. One kid was out. He went to a wrestling match, got hurt, came back and had a big game last week. So for us, it's just a matter. Those aren't things that we know. Now, in the Heritage Conference, you know a little bit more of insider information about what goes on with teams. But at this point, they're the opponent, and we're going to prepare for them based on what we see on the film and not what we have access to in terms of like insider stuff.
Right. Speaking of injuries, you guys overcame some of them this year. A couple little nagging injuries here and there. How are you generally healthy going into this game?
Well, we're in great health considering it's November, and we just played two extremely physical football teams. And, everyone's banged up a little bit, but everyone's got to go. And I expect everyone to be ready to go for us when we play Friday night.
Mm-hmm. And the guys were talking a little bit just about how fun it is to be out here at the end of November, still going to practice and not doing basketball quite yet and still playing football. So how's it feel for you as the coach just to still be out here?
Well, it's a lot of fun. It's different. It's different in the tone, in the fact that we kind of have like two practices going on at once. One of the advantages that you have about going longer is that you get an opportunity to coach your young kids even more. So we're working on those kids with the mindset that these are the guys that we're going to have coming back next year. But at the same token, we also are working with our guys with the game plan for this week and hopefully beyond that. So it's a lot of fun. It's great because at this point where there's only 16 teams left in the state that are in AA, and you keep getting pared down, and this is what it's all about. It's a lot of fun. It's great for the kids. These are those memories that they'll have for the rest of their lives, and it's just great that we get to be part of it.
Mm-hmm. You guys have had a lot of big blowout wins and a lot of shutouts this year. Do you think you guys are going to finally be able to have a little bit of a challenge this week?
Well, I honestly believe that. I said that the last 2 weeks as well, and then our kids went out and performed admirably well. Every week, that's the tough thing about the playoffs is that our kids are playing with that sense of urgency. They don't want it to be over, and that's ultimately what happens. If you don't win, you turn your equipment in, and that sense of they don't want it to be over, they want to stay with their brothers and keep practicing, I think it gives them a little extra motivation. But the main point is that you have to enjoy the moment. You can't get too caught up in it, and again, be along for the ride for the kids, and it's their ride. We're just kind of helping maybe drive the bus a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think, aside from the overall defense, has been the biggest strength for you guys through the playoffs here?
I think definitely the defense. The fact that we've shut out two opponents in back-to-back playoff games, I think, speaks remarkably well about the job that those kids did, and that's extremely tough to do. And our kids have been able to do that. That's really been the story. I didn't believe that we'd be able to do that in the first two rounds, and they continued to amaze, and I'm hoping that they will continue to amaze us on Friday night as well.
All right, Coach, sounds good.
Thanks, Carly.
Hey, thanks a lot.